Guys, welcome to Introduction to Group Riding. Have many of you experienced on riding, or you're new to the club? You're new to the club.
I've done some riding, but yeah, it's first time for the club.
Yeah. So one of the things we do at the club is we ask people that are unfamiliar with cycling is to come on this Introduction to Group Riding, just so you can learn some of the skills that we use, and also the skills that we'll use on the group rides and various things, and signaling and pointing and all that kind of stuff. So just to make it all comfortable. And then as soon as you complete this course, then you can really establish which group you want to go on, whether it's particular lanes or whatever, but we can go into that in a second. Okay? So first question I want to ask is, why do we want to ride in groups?
For fun.
Absolutely. Drafting, yes, and we can go into that in a second.
Safety in numbers.
Yep. All good reasons. Obviously, it's mental well-being, riding in groups. Safer, exciting going to new destinations together. And anyway, and Anna, you did mention drafting at the beginning. So drafting is kind of important in a group ride, because if you're number two behind the person leading the ride, you probably feel that there's at least 30% less effort in your riding, because you are feeling the draft, the wind resistance from the person in front. So it should be easier, and that's why we draft. So there's just a lot more efficiency. Exactly. Okay. First of all, before we go into any of the details, does anyone get any injuries?
No.
Nobody's got any injuries. Okay, that's good. Excellent. And obviously, as you can see, that we are being videoed for this introduction to group riding. So hopefully that is okay for everybody. So what should we take on a bike ride?
Bottled water.
Absolutely, especially in this weather. Helmet, excellent.
Mobile phone.
Perfect.
Allen key.
Perfect.
You've not got a tool, have you?
And yes, and usually we all have tool bags on the back of their bike for their various things. And the one thing that I do always have is I have a first aid kit, just in case we need that at some stage. Hopefully we won't need it today, so I will return it to. Oh yes, and I always take some gels as well. So these are November 24, so we probably won't use them today. Anyway, and I also have electric bike pump like this. So this is quite handy in the event that somebody has a puncture. So it's just a little kind of thing that goes in the back pocket alongside cameras and that kind of stuff. Exactly, selfie sticks. Yeah. Anyway, so looking at our bikes, it's probably better if we all grab our bikes and we'll do a quick check on the bikes. So, okay. So when we grab our bike, it's always useful before a ride. It's just to give it a quick M check. So it's basically. So I'll put my.
What's an M check?
It's basically on the symbol of the bike. So you take the down here, up, down, up, down. That's kind of how it's an M check. Okay. So the first thing, we start at the front of the bikes, is basically check that the skewer is attached correctly. That would be a bit of a predicament if we didn't have the skewers attached and things like wheels fell off and whatever that we've had in the past. And then check the tire pressure. Good. And then rotate the front wheel and make sure it's going around freely and not getting caught. Perfect. And then apply the front brake, just making sure that the brake works. I see the disc pads are all fine, but it's just useful just to double check before you leave the house that your disc brake pads are good. Okay, moving up, we also got a steering wheel. It's useful just to check that everything is connected. There's not screws missing, because I've had that before. in various times. So check that, and then go down the M, down to the pedals. And as we rotate the pedals, just make sure that they're attached and secure. Obviously, you've got pedals attached, clearly. Never over tighten pedals, because usually the night before you go somewhere, you can't get the pedals off, and it's usually a nightmare. So just don't over tighten your pedals. Okay, and then up the M, you got the saddle. You've probably all had the saddles through bike fits to your own size, whatever else, but just give it a little shake to make sure it's not moving, which is useful. Most of you have got tool bags at the back, so that's good. And then we go down, and then we've got the rear skewer, just making sure that that's been attached. Check that there's air in the tire, and then give the rear wheel a little turn, making sure it goes round okay, and then apply the rear brakes. Excellent. Good. So that's that bit. This is a busy car parkish. Hopefully, we're not going to be in somebody's way, but in the event we are, we'll have to move things. So, signals. We talked about signaling. So, do any of you know what the signals we do? So, clearly, we do left turn, right turn. And then if we're passing something that's on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, we signal like this to show that we're actually, so the rider behind sees that we're doing this move. And then we go round and then regroup. Okay? The other kind of signals you'll talk about, if you're in a kind of narrow road and there's a car coming forward, you'll say car up. And if you're at the back, riding at the back of the group, and you feel that there's a car at the back trying to pass, you'll probably shout car back. Okay? Obviously, we're in the UK, so there's lots of potholes in the roads. So it's useful just to shout, either point to the pothole or shout pothole. So basically any obstructions, and that's the same with speed bumps and things like that. It's useful just to do something so everybody's aware that there's a hazard coming, and we don't want to avoid or have any issues with the hazard. Excellent. Does anybody have any questions on that? Perfect. The other thing that we do is if somebody's at the back and they're struggling a little bit, it's often useful to shout, presumably as long as the group hasn't fallen too far in front, ease up, which just means you get an opportunity just to rejoin the group and then obviously benefit from any drafting that there is. Often on rides, we will share the front, so we'll change it around. Not everybody's expected to be at the front the whole time, including the ride leader. So we will change it around and make it, as we get into more familiar group riding, we kind of do through and offs and move people around, and we all take a turn, a minute, whatever at the front, and kind of do that. So that's all. Well, it's a good question. So at the club, we have different lane speeds that we have. So we have an introduction to group riding, which is what we're all on today. And then we have lanes 1 to lane 5. Lane 1 is no one's left behind. So nobody should really, anybody who's unfamiliar with cycling, whatever else, should feel very comfortable being in that group. And they will not get dropped. And it will be the ride leader's responsibility to make sure that there is a train station if that is indeed needed. But hopefully that's not the case. As you get more comfortable with rides, you can move up the rides, lane 2, lane 3, lane 4, lane 5, and then the speeds, it's all on the website, Ed. So you can see what the kind of average speed of what that group are going to be doing. But if you're familiar with riding, I would always start in a lane 2 and then see if that feels comfortable. And then, move up as you feel. Yeah. Okay? Good. With riding, we need to be predictable. We need to be consistent. We shouldn't speed up at roundabouts, to get ahead or whatever else, because everybody else is following, and It could be another hazard or traffic lights or whatever else. It's all about regrouping and being consistent, whatever else. So that is kind of key. Okay, that is it. So I think we're going to go out obviously onto the road and do some 5K loops later. And during that we will have opportunities to go in pairs or to go one behind the other and then regroup into pairs, or being in pairs and then try and put it into a signal line, just depending on what there is. There are some potholes on part of that course, and again we'll point them out, and hopefully you'll feel comfortable. You'll also have an opportunity to use your water bottle when we're riding, just so you get comfortable with that. Yes, please do drink. It is warm today. Okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what I thought we'd do now is we're going to try and use the cones, which are here, and we're just going to be riding in a short line just from the corner here, down through the cones, and then when you get to the end, it's quite narrow. We're going to go round the cones and then come back in a single file, but we're going to do it in pairs. I can ride with Ed, and if you two could ride together. Yes, but next to each other. Yes, and
oh, as in the pairs go.
The pairs go together, exactly. We will repeat it, and then we'll go closer together, and then we'll just see how that feels. Okay.
And what we doing with practicing riding next?
With signaling. So when you get to the end, you signal. The person on the left will be going left, and the person on the right will be going right. Okay. So it is quite tight. Hopefully there'll be no more cars coming. There are other car park spaces in this car park, but some people like to be in the shade. Okay. Right, let's go. So yes. So let's start at the top. William and Anna can lead. Yes, helmets on. Good. So Ed, you go with Anna, and I'll go with Will. It is quite narrow at the top, so just go quite slowly. No, you're going side by side.
Oh,
yes, we're going to make it slightly narrower the next time, so you can actually hold hands to show how we can ride quite closely. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to go down? Consistency. No half wheeling. Excellent. Perfect. Right, Will.
Okay.
Right. It's quite narrow with that little car. And when they come back, I'll make the path slightly narrower. Well, Will, could you hold my bike, please? Thank you. Right. 2 seconds. I'm going to. Perfect.
So we're inside the cones.
We're inside the cones, and then we're just going to do the same thing, but we're going to fist pump when you're halfway along, just to show that we can ride quite closely, and that's quite a useful skill. People sometimes feel very uncomfortable about riding close together, but actually it's quite a useful exercise.
We're actually going to fist bump.
Like that.
Okay.
Right. And then signal. Perfect. Good, guys. Well done. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Guys, we're just going to redo that again. And just a reminder that you need to signal when you get to the top. Yes. We're just going to redo the two of you again because we need to demonstrate. We need to demonstrate that we're comfortable with signaling. So do it again. Perfect. Good job. Perfect. Excellent. Excellent. Right, let's go over and have a quick final chat before we go out on the road. We can go under the shade. Perfect. Well, you did that really well, guys. Thanks for taking part. Anna, perfect. Just always be cognizant of using the hand signals when you're turning. Okay. You know, we need to be kind of a bit more aggressive as to whether we're going right or whether we're going left. Just don't be too down here, and the person behind really needs. Yeah, the person behind just needs to know what's going on. Perfect. Thank you. Well done. Does anybody have any other questions before we hit the road?
So when we go now, we're going to be going in pairs.
Pairs.
Okay.
Yeah. And we cycle for about 1.5 k, and then we take the turn at the right, which is up to Penn Ponds.
When do we know if we want to stop being in pairs?
The ride leader will say we're going single. We'll go single, and then what we'll demonstrate later on is between the pairs you'll decide who's going to accelerate and who's going to decelerate, so you kind of form a natural line. Okay.
How close to the next person do you ride?
Probably about 1.5 meters behind. When you ride in pairs, it's useful obviously to know half wheeling, so don't try and accelerate in front of the other person, whatever else. We ride together in that format. Okay, perfect. Let's get on.